What's going on, everyone? So Max Christie really stole the show in Summer League. He was incredibly efficient, was clearly the best player in every game he played, and really stood out. I mean, the progress from year one to year two was very abundant, very clear. And this is a guy that has the potential to be a legit two-way player in this league. And he's a guy that the Lakers are very high on. He's been working hard, working in the lab, put on some size, grew a couple inches. Like, this is a guy that could be a real fixture for the Lakers and the future. This is a guy that has the potential to be an all-star level player. A guy that can get after it defensively, create his own shot. And I mean, he was creating his own shot. He was hitting tough shots. He was knocking down the three ball, the mid-range, was showing the ability to be a legit three-level scorer. And we already knew he was a great defensive player. And he was just kind of coasting out there. Like, he wasn't going 100%. He was just out there getting reps in. And he was still arguably the best player. Like, the growth that we saw from him was ridiculous. And there's a lot of hope and excitement going into this upcoming season. And he very likely could be our backup too, right? He could end up, Austin Reeves is going to be the guy that starts. Max Christie very well could be the backup too. Now, there's also the real likelihood that he ends up being so good that they end up figuring out a way to start him, especially if the plan really is to trade D'Lo, right? Like, maybe, and they want to make Reeves a point guard, and they're kind of trying to allow him to get and become more of a playmaker, more of a point guard role. I definitely think Max Christie and Austin Reeves are our backcourt of the future, right? I really do. And I think that's kind of the plan and the reason why the Lakers want to kind of get Austin Reeves more comfortable in an NBA level point guard role, which it shouldn't be hard. He did it a lot this last season. He did it in the playoffs, but also he did it in college and high school. So I don't think it's something that's like, oh, there's no way he can do that. And then Max Christie being your two, you have a really good, front court on both sides of the ball. Two guys that can create their own shots, be legit three-level scorers, two guys that can make plays, right? Two guys with size. Like, all of that is very valuable. And, Max Christie, he's going to have his work cut out for him, though, right? Because as much and as excited as we are for Max Christie, there's also the likelihood that he's very likely the odd man out, right? I mean, you look at this Lakers roster, and it is very deep. And everybody is a perimeter guy, right? And you got multiple guys that can play the two. I mean, Cam Reddish could even play the two if you needed him to. And, you got Taurean Prince that you're going to have to figure out, like, is he going to play the three? Is he going to play the four? Do you shift him over and let him play the two because he's 6'6", and he's played this small forward role, and the two and the three are not that big of a difference in today's NBA, right? And so you'd imagine that Max Christie is going to get some run, some minutes, some burn, right? But, again, you got to find minutes for Jared Vanderbilt, Rui Hachimura, right? Taurean Prince, Gabe Vincent. Anthony Davis is supposed to be playing more of the four this year. He wants to do it. The Lakers are willing to allow him to do that. So if he plays the four, let's say 15 minutes a game, then that's 15 minutes that he didn't play last year at the four, and you have to figure out minutes for everybody. So how do you do that? Well, you move Taurean Prince to the two. So Max Christie is going to have to be so good that you can't take him off the court, that you're going to have to find minutes for him. And is it possible for him to do that? Absolutely. Look, I have all the utmost confidence and faith in Max Christie. The kid is a baller, an absolute baller. And he's 20 years old and just looks like a legit NBA. Like, he looks like he could be a guy, or at least in Summer League. Again, Summer League is not the NBA. But, I mean, he looked like a guy that can be a starting level shooting guard in this league, right? But again, it's not the NBA, right? I know it's connected to the NBA, and it's the NBA Summer League, but it's not the NBA. It's not the level of players and the level of talent and the level of defense and the size and the quickness, and it's not all of those things. And Max Christie, a couple other things too. One, do the Lakers look at him and go, okay, we're trying to push for an NBA championship. We got this deep roster with a lot of talent. He's our young stud that we want for the long haul, right? Look at the strides and the leaps that he made between year 1 and year 2. And he was primarily in the G League, bouncing back and forth and just kind of working on his own. Let's do that again for him for another year. Next year, he comes in and maybe we even start him, right? Like that could be the Lakers' direction. He's also due for an NBA contract, right? Do the Lakers kind of hide him? And do the Lakers kind of mask him? So that way they don't have to worry about an Austin Reeves situation where a team maybe tries to go and overpay for Max Christie. And now the Lakers got to figure that out and navigate that and potentially overpay Christie. And for people that are like, oh, like why would, like the Lakers aren't going to do that, but plenty of teams have done it. Gilbert Arenas has talked about this heavily and talked about how he got screwed because the Wizards did that to him. So don't be shocked if that becomes a thing. That happens a lot. You get this young guy that teams are really talented with. The Lakers, they're trying to win an NBA championship, so it doesn't look fishy. It doesn't look, odd, where it's like, like, why aren't they playing Max Christie? They're a tanking team that's young. Like, let them get some minutes. Let them get some maturity. No, it's like the Lakers are a very deep team with a lot of players that they need to find minutes for and are trying to win an NBA championship. So, sorry, our 20-year-old kid can't play some minutes because we got to get minutes for Rui and Vando and Prince and all these other guys. Especially if the Lakers end up getting Christian Wood, right? Then there's minutes at the 4 again. So between Anthony Davis and Christian Wood, that's probably all the 4-spot minutes, which means now the 3 spot is going to be, Taurean Prince, Rui Hachimura, Jared Vanderbilt, and Cam Reddish. You're going to have to find minutes for all 4 of those guys there. And again, the 2 spot, how do you kind of unclog that log jam at the 3? You move a guy like Cam Reddish or Taurean Prince at the 2. And you let Max Christie kind of develop again for another year. You offer him that, like an Austin Reeves type contract, 4 years, $56 million. He gets paid. Nobody's really offering him more because, they haven't really gotten to see him. So is he really worth the money? Is he not? He's shown some flashes, some glimpses. He was good in Summer League, but Summer League, again, is not the NBA. Don't be shocked if that ends up being a thing. Now, I hope not. Right? Like, is it the guy's ready to go? If he's the best option if he's better than Austin Reeves, just start him. Like, wherever he is in as far as talent-wise compared to the rest of the roster, that's where you plug him in. If it's close, right? Like, if it's like, Max Christie's really good, but he's not that much better than, like, if we move Prince to the 2 or something like that, then fine. But ideally, if Max Christie is just balling, and this guy is a legit, like, starting level shooting guard, then figure it out. If you have to move Austin Reeves to the point, move Austin Reeves to the point. Right? If you have to trade D'Lo, because Max Christie is our future. Right? Whatever you got to do. And look, this is somebody that is sticking up for D'Lo, that wants D'Lo on this roster, that thinks D'Lo is going to be very good for the Lakers this year. But if Max Christie is really that good, then you do what you got to do. You figure it out, right? I care about the Lakers winning more than I care about anything else. So I think it just comes down to that. But there is the real question of does Max Christie end up kind of being the odd man out, right? Do the Lakers kind of try to mask him in a lot of ways, kind of give him spots, pick and choose, maybe not like the big marquee games he doesn't play. Lakers are playing the Celtics where everyone's kind of watching. Maybe it's like, let's play him against, Detroit or something, where it's like, if he plays really good, you can kind of chalk it up to like, well, they played a terrible defensive team, right? Like, where if you're playing top 5 defense, top 5 offense, one of the best teams in the league, and he's just torching them and killing them, now it's kind of hard to mask them. And look, I'm not saying that they will do that, but it is a real option. it is something that could very well happen and could be justified, right? It's not something that is like, what do you do? Like, why aren't you playing Max Christie, right? Like, if Max Christie doesn't play a single minute this year, I don't think anybody's going to be like, if the Lakers are winning, of course, I don't think anybody's going to be like, oh man, like they really needed to play Max Christie, right? Like if the Lakers are the number 1 seed or top 3 seed in the West and they win an NBA championship and Max Christie never sees the floor, like who's complaining? Nobody is, right? Like the Lakers just won a championship. So I think it depends on the results. I think it depends on how everything kind of plays out. But I really want to see this kid ball out. I really do. Like, I'm really rooting for him. I love the progress, right? Like, I want the best talent and the best possible outcome for all of our players, right? Because if that happens, then the Lakers are going to be very good for a very long time. If Max Christie becomes an all-star level player and, is a legit two-way shooting guard in this league, the Lakers are going to be very good for a very long time. Between him and Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura and Jared Vanderbilt and Anthony Davis, like even after LeBron, they're going to be very good for a very long time. So I want the success for him. And I'm cautiously optimistic, Like I look at it as like, don't expect Max Christie to play a bunch, but if he does, great, right? Like that's kind of how I look at it. But I don't know. Anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think of Max Christie? Do you think he gets some real minutes this season? Do you think that, no, the Lakers, they're too deep, too talented, he kind of ends up being the odd man out? Do you think it's possible that they kind of mask him and they kind of hide him just so that way they don't end up having to overpay for him because some team comes in and offers him a max, right? Like, think of the whole Austin Reeves scenario. The difference is Austin Reeves, there's still some question marks. Can he replicate what he did last year? He's also 24, not 20. There's a lot of other things in play, a lot of other factors. So, I don't know. Could be interesting. But anyway, how do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below.